Let's start with, you got a great nickname, man, Rocket.
Yeah, I do.
How did that come about?
It's actually not even related to football. Most people don't think that, but when I was young, like a little baby, before I could even walk or run, I used to try to take off and try to run when I was crawling. So my dad just used to call me Rocket, and then it kind of started from there, and it just never left since then.
And you're playing a big role in the team this year. You're starting. Is this kind of what you expected coming into the year, Ronnie?
Yeah, it's definitely a big goal I had in mind. After the last season ended. I definitely just want to come in and contribute as much as I can. That was probably really my main goal, was just trying to help the team as much as I can. I was fortunate enough to start and, make some plays for my guys to get the win. So, yeah.
You're getting on the field last year. How did that feel? Your first meaningful playing time last year as a redshirt freshman.
It was good. I definitely was just itching to get out there just like any other player who hasn't. So, I try to take advantage of the opportunities that I got to play and just went from there.
Your thoughts on this week's matchup against Oregon?
I'm excited. I grew up watching Oregon just like a lot of these guys. I always wanted to play them growing up. So, now that I got the chance to finally play them, I think it's awesome.
Did you know that you had 11 tackles when the game ended, or were you surprised when you saw your stat?
I actually was surprised. We were singing From Ohio together, and then I looked up at the thing and it said tackle leader Ronnie Hickman with 11. I was like, oh, I got 11 tackles. It was kind of one of those things. So, I was definitely excited.
Was it a little easier to remember all of them once you realized you got 11, or is it still something that you're trying to figure out?
The game is kind of fast. It was some plays I seen on film. I was like, I forgot I was in, made that tackle, that kind of thing. But I definitely knew, most of them I kind of knew in the back of my head for sure.
Now that you guys have a game in the secondary under your belt without 7 kids, to be able to now potentially get those guys back and be at full strength, I feel like we haven't even seen anything from you guys yet.
First off, I think all of our guys are capable. For our defense to be at full strength, no matter who's out there, we're all talented. We all grinding and working the same way. But I think those veteran guys can always help just because they got experience under their belt. And we rotate a lot, so any healthy guy in our DB room that's able to go out there and play and put their all into it, I think will be good for us.
What stands out in film of the receiving core of Oregon and their depth?
Probably speed. Those are fast guys. They take a lot of shots downfield and stuff like that. So just being detailed in our assignments and stuff like that, I think will be good.
And this week, you guys get your first home game in over 600 days.
Crazy.
What is the atmosphere like in the locker room right now?
Exciting. I'm very anxious, and I just can't wait for kickoff just to hear that crowd behind you. On third down when we need that crowd going loud. So I'm just very excited. So yeah, they got us too.
Ronnie, going off of that, you came in a couple years ago, and now with a home game on Saturday, what is it that you want to show Buckeye Nation and show fans that you bring to the table in this Buckeyes defense?
I'm willing to do it all for the team, man. Ultimately, we want to win always. But Coach Day talked about it before our practice today, and it just stuck with me. Just like relentless effort, just going out there and just relentless, being like a dog. You feel what I'm saying? So that kind of thing. And anything to help my team win, that's always the goal for our whole defense and pretty much everyone on the team. Contributing as much as I can.
Was there anything from last week against Minnesota that you may have changed or noticed that you could have done differently?
Oh yeah, always. There's always room for corrections. We spend a lot of time in the film room, myself and Coach Barnes, Coach Combs, and me. I feel like we got a good job correcting those. We just got to put it on the field this weekend.
What about Denzel Ward? Coming out and getting a start. Just what did you see from him maybe before the game, before he made that start?
I saw it. I would say, when he first got here, he was practicing in a yellow jersey. He was injured, but he was still making picks and stuff. So I knew it. I remember telling him the first spring practice, I think I looked at Bryce and I said, this kid's gonna be special. And me and Bryce kind of both shook our hands and said, yeah. So I just knew he needed an opportunity. I'm glad he seized the moment when he got to start. So I'm really excited for him in his future.
Have you seen Bryce and Sean through the last couple of years, and what makes them stand out?
Can you start over? I'm sorry.
How have you seen Bryce and Sean through the last couple of years, and what does he bring to the table that other guys might not?
Bryce is my guy. We came in from the jump, so we've had those freshman struggles, those young guys struggles together. Just to watch him go, he's a really detailed guy. A lot of guys ask him, go to him for questions, that kind of thing. So just seeing him staying locked in and staying with the team no matter what. It's not always good, but he stuck with us, and he's a hard worker. I'm just excited for him to show what he can do on the field, especially this Saturday.
In what ways has he improved, I guess, from after coming in as a freshman and to now, to this point now?
Yeah, just his ability to recognize and get the calls out to other guys, because, at some moments, he has to get the call out to the whole defense while they're lining up and stuff like that. So I can always trust him that he's going to get us in the right call, get me in the right position, that kind of thing.
Ronnie, you were talking about Denzel earlier. At this point of your freshman year, I mean, just mentally, not don't worry about the physical, there's a different position, but just mentally, how difficult would it have been for you to be ready to start and do what he's doing right now? How challenging is that?
Honestly, I wouldn't even know. You know, I was actually injured my freshman year, but kind of for any freshman, it's a big deal, you know, to come out here to play Big Ten football at The Ohio State University, going against teams that are going to give it their all against you every weekend and week out. So it's a big task, but Denzel's been balling his whole life, so, you know, he's just coming here and playing football. He has good coaches around him, too, so I think he's good.
Ronnie, you were the first official bullet for Ohio State, the first guy to start there in a game. Does that mean something to you to kind of have that distinction there?
Yeah, for sure. You know, when they brought the position up to us, I definitely wanted to start. You know, it's definitely a personal goal of mine. So just the fact that I was able to go out there and do that was definitely an honor for me, yeah.
What was Josh's reaction when that big interception return got called back? What was your reaction to, I guess,
Pain.
to that play?
It was pain. It was straight pain. You know, I was excited. I was turned up with him. And then I realized it was coming back, and I was hurt. I'm sure he was hurt, too. So, yeah, pain. That's pretty much it for that one.
Coaches and other players are talking about Tommy Eichenberg and just what he brings as far as like helping this defense get set up. What were you noticing about that?
Tommy's a huge vocal guy. You know, coming back to just winter workouts, him getting us pumped up. He's a huge vocal guy, and I personally feed off of him a lot. You know, I talk to him a lot. Like, it's kind of the thing when you look across and you see a certain guy on the field, and he just kind of gives you that boost of confidence that you're out there with him. So Tommy does a great job in that. He's a good hard-nosed, that middle linebacker guy that you need, you know, to set the tone. So I think Tommy does a great job of that.
Can you think of something from the game on Thursday night where it's something he said, something he told you guys, or that helped set things up?
I probably can't quote anything. There's a few calls that he made to me, some plays that he told me to watch out for, and I ended up, you know, making a tackle on that, and he told me, like, alerted me before to play, that kind of thing, stuff like that.
Is it fair to compare him to Tough Borland? I mean, that's a comparison.
I mean, it's a linebacker, so you can compare anyone who played that position, but Tommy's Tommy. You know, Tommy's Tommy. He's not Tough or anyone else. Tommy is Tommy, so I think he plays his role well.
Have you gotten the sense from the coaching staff that based on the matchup, other guys might play more at the bullet position, or do you feel like you've kind of locked down the top spot moving forward?
I feel like the coach is always willing to rotate. You know, it's football. You know, it's a long season still ahead, so I'm sure that there will be some rotation at some point as far as that, but I don't know too much of that.
You may have already talked about this, but as that game went on, did you feel more and more, I don't know, confidence, more aggressive? I mean, just explain what it's like to play a whole game. I know you played before.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, that was the first game starting here and playing. That was like the most snaps I've played in college, so it was definitely new. But yeah, like you said, you know, once you get those few hits in, you know, get those few blocks in or whatever it is, you kind of calm down. The game gets a little slower and you adjust easier to it. So I definitely got a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more confident as the game went on. I would say that.
And what did you see? I mean, Denzel Burke's out there.
Yeah.
First time. I'm a freshman playing corner.
Yeah, I answered this question earlier. I said I knew that kid was special. Spring ball, you know, first day he came out, he was had a small injury, so he had a little yellow jersey on, but he's still making picks, still making plays and stuff like that. So, you know, I knew his future was going to be really bright from the first day. So I'm just excited for him.
Yeah. And you as a DB, when you look at him, what stands out about his ability? I mean, what just jumps out at you about him?
His footwork. You know, he's really good at the line of scrimmage. You know, he competes against literally the two best receivers in college football, in my opinion, every day, and he's making plays with them. So once you're able to do that, you know, it just kind of says something. So, yeah, I think his footwork is amazing. His hands is really good. He has good ball skills as well, too.
Ronnie, when did you first realize you think the bullet could be your position?
Kind of when they described me what the position was, I felt like I was athletic enough to, you know, play in the box and also play in the post sometimes and just kind of roam around the field and just let my, athletic ability play on the field and stuff like that. So that's when I kind of knew I could do it.
When they described it to you, was that when you came here as a freshman? Because you were recruited before, coaches?
Yeah, so, when I came in, I was hurt. So it really wasn't much position football talk. It was more getting my body healthy. So, when they brung it, I was kind of healthy. So yeah, I guess when I was around the time to play football, that's when they brung the conversation up about it.
Okay. Where do you think it had the biggest impact against Minnesota? Just because typically you guys would start three linebackers, and this game was a little bit different against Minnesota, where you had a bullet instead of that third linebacker. Where do you think that position and your skill set make the biggest impact?
Well, Minnesota was like a run-heavy team. You know, they didn't. They had some passes in there, but they're definitely a run-first team. So just being able to use my athletic skills to defeat blocks and stuff like that, and also be able to play tight ends and go play in the post and stuff like that, I think it was able to use to help the team win too.
This seems like, I mean,
for defenses, it's kind of weird because one week you're playing a team that's got 7 offensive linemen out
Yeah, it's crazy.
on occasion, and now you're playing Oregon, which is kind of the opposite of that in a lot of respects. I mean, how do you re-gear? What just jumps out at you about Oregon?
I think he had a question. I really just think it's the speed. You know, they got some speed, but we got some speed too. So you know, it just comes down to preparation and detail and stuff like that.
They seemed to get lost a little bit in the middle of that game last week, Fresno State, and then found themselves. I mean, Anthony Brown finally delivered like a running play. You know, everybody forgot he could run, etc. But what are the P's and Q's, I guess, in this one from the standpoint of going against him?
You know, if he decides to run, you know, we just got to adjust and stuff like that. We've got a pretty good game plan. I'm excited to put it to use on Saturday.
What about him is going to be tough? Just he's somebody who can run the drill, like any challenge run from somebody, quarterback who didn't run as much week 1 to a guy who can run week 2?
Can you say that again? I could barely.
What's the I guess like Anthony Brown's like a quarterback who can run a little more than Minnesota had. What do you notice about his running ability?
I think he can make the run when it needs to be made. He made a big run against Fresno State, like you said. Their team needed that. So just, you know, preparing right for him and just recognizing certain plays and certain formations and stuff like that and adjusting to it as the game goes on.